Hey now, boys and girls, welcome into show number 81 of the Pucknologists here on Teal Town, USA. As always, remember to hit the subscribe button, follow us on Twitter, and do all those social media kind of like things right there. I'm your host, AJ_Strong, and with me the usual suspects, Rocket Backhander, what it is.
I own everything. Everything is mine. Rocket Backhander, how you doing?
All right. And this is going to become the new intro now. You love to see it. Hockey jerk.
Lego my ego.
For those of you who don't know, we have just witnessed Joey Chestnut and Matt Stoney absolutely destroy Tanya and the Barracuda in a waffle eating contest. So good on you. But hey, speaking of waffles, what does that mean? It's time to go, of course, to the Hot Takery Bakery.
Yeah.
Hey, now, I've been waiting for a transition to get us there. So, I'm not even going to say anything to start. I'm just going to show it to you. If this is the future, I want to go back. So I am showing you now, for those listening audio only, if you watch the YouTube version of this, we are showing you the Colorado Stadium Series jersey that was leaked and then finally released. I don't even, who the hell are they playing?
Los Angeles.
Oh God, I wonder if they're going to hold my beer over this. Yeah.
Well, those all white numbers that LA had that one year for the outdoor games pretty atrocious. So I have a feeling they might outdo Colorado in the category of most ugly jersey.
Yeah.
Well,
so initial thoughts, Jerk.
Well, wow, a lot to unpack here.
I don't know. I hate to see it.
I'll say I give them full marks for creativity, right? Because most jerseys, I would say 100% of all jerseys, they have a tangible logo on the front, while on this one it appears to be the actual
Material
makeup or the material that is making the logo. So full marks for creativity. You obviously have the big A to signify Avalanche, in case that wasn't obvious. You got the mountains on there, which I believe is a callback to the Colorado Rockies, who used to play in the NHL for like a second. We'll see. I mean, we have to take it with a grain of salt. The first viewing of this we saw was a Youth Fanatics jersey, which is not really doing anybody any favors. So I'm hoping the Adidas version, in an on ice capacity, I think will maybe make it look a little better. But yeah, first impression, I like the creativity, but I don't like anything else about it, and it makes me worry that because they want to make it match like thematically, it makes me think the LA one is going to be as bad, if not worse.
Yep.
Please put a huge L on the front of LA's.
They're going to come out with like a neon Burger King jersey.
Geez.
Yeah. Oh God. If they had a freaking neon Burger King jersey, yeah, I'm down with that.
I will say too, couple things on this one. I saw this and I shot it over to our Jersey private chat, and I was gonna tweet it out and be like the first scoop, and then I was like, you know what, whatever. And then of course everybody else on Twitter like an hour later is like, oh my God, did you see this? And I'm like, damn it, I could have got some clout there.
Yeah.
But a lot of people on Reddit were saying, it's so ugly, I hate it. Where do I buy one? So
yeah, I can see that. Like, I almost feel like the NHL might have that kind of an idea. Like, okay, we're going to make something so obnoxiously bad that it will just drive sales even more, because it will literally be a case of no one will ever see this again. I better get one. In fact, I better buy two so I can sell one in 10 years, Oh. I can't. And I put on Twitter when I saw this, I said, you could slap a big J on the back, I'm still not buying it. I'm not doing it. I can't. But anyway, that's definitely that's a hot takery bakery moment, to say the least. Oof, that jersey. All right, so let's move on and go around the NHL before Rocket implodes. Ilya Kovalchuk. We finally see it. Now, we talked to Drew Remenda about this when Kovalchuk came on the scene with LA, and we are like, what did you think about that? Because if you remember, the Sharks were also mentioned in the Kovalchuk sweepstakes. Thank God that one didn't work out. But Drew was like, yeah, I didn't see that working out. I don't see it working out. I don't think it's going to happen. And now it's been announced he's getting the Spanish Archer. That's right, El Bo. Now, what's the deal, Jerk? Something about December and a I don't know, a bonus or something, and then they'll buy him out?
Yeah, so with Ilya Kovalchuk, the way his contract is structured, he has a signing bonus that's going to be paid to him on December the 15th of this year of our Lord 2019. And after that signing bonus is paid, the only money that is owed to Kovalchuk is, I want to say, in the neighborhood of $700,000 for the rest of this regular season, which obviously makes him a more attractive option for a team to trade for. And I understand a lot of people are like, oh, I told you so on this one, but me being ever the optimist, I still think there's something there. Like, if you get him in the right environment with the right team, there's no reason to think he can't.
Now, when you say there, are you talking about him or you mean Russia?
No, I really think if he's, I mean, him signing with LA, I think was dumb to begin with. I mean, this is a guy, he's in the NHL, in the KHL, like, is a pretty nasty goal scorer and point scorer, and is looking for a Stanley Cup after, you know, picking up a couple of Russian championships. Thanks for coming. So why are you going to sign with one of the worst teams in the NHL? I mean, I don't get it. He has money, so that's not the issue.
But let me ask you this, though. Was there a Stanley Cup contender other than San Jose that was knocking on his door? When LA made that deal with him, I wouldn't say LA was considered a contender at that point.
Yeah, if it wasn't LA, it was going to be San Jose or the Boston Bruins.
Ugh. Although I will say that Kovalchuk would have been a nice fit for the Bruins.
I think so too. I mean, Kovalchuk he's that like run and gun kind of player. He's going to get you points if you. I don't want to say he's the same player as Erik Karlsson, but it's a thing where if you just let him do what he's good at, he's going to make you happy. And
I'm going to let the joke go, but go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was there. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying the Sharks should trade another draft pick for somebody of this caliber, but I think if after that December 15th signing bonus payout, I think if he does get moved to a better team, I wouldn't be surprised to see him go off.
Well, all right, let's move on. Okay. Rocket, I don't know about you, but during preseason, might have had a little fun with the Twitter machine and pointing out the fact that Vegas was popping off and having a good time for setting a preseason attendance record, which I'm sure is probably maybe a little bit easier to do when you're a fresh, brand new, thing in the NHL. Let's see what else was going on when that happened. Oh, yeah, they were giving out bobbleheads. And again, I have to say this for the bajillionth time so people don't make stupid assumptions. But no, I'm not saying that the bobblehead thing promotion that they had was the only reason. But you're a fool if you don't think it contributed some value to it. That being said, it was also like about 100 degrees out during the time when they're playing hockey in a nice air-conditioned facility. But either way, they're having a good time with that. And so we put it out and said with a screenshot that had, preseason attendance record, whatever. And I very humorously just put it out and said, hey, that's awesome. We remember our first beer. We remember when we were a fresh and shiny new franchise. Good for them. Because the Sharks, they were doing the same thing when they first came in. And just about every other franchise in their first couple of years when the honeymoon is still in full bloom. However, we are 6 weeks into the season or so, and let's see, what do we see here? I mean, you tell me. I'm seeing a bunch of people wearing Vegas jerseys exiting the building. I'm seeing a lot of empty seats, and yet the game is still being played. This video, of course, coming from at Brian News 3LV, who is works for the local TV station there, I believe, does sports. And I don't know if this is an all-time troll, because it's really funny that he shows all these people, mass exodus, all the empty seats, and then goes right to the scoreboard to show you that there's still almost 3 minutes left in this game. And Vegas is down by 3 goals, but it's also a case of, it's not as if Vegas fans are unfamiliar with seeing a rapid amount of goals scored in a very short period of time.
Right.
So, what do you think about that, Rocket? Is the honeymoon over?
I don't know, because we have this problem here in San Jose sometimes with Caltrain. And if a game goes long because there was a lot of stoppages in play or some junk like that, it went to overtime, went to a shootout, sometimes you got to leave early in order to catch that last train. And it does seem, especially because there's a dense population of commuter fans, more so than with the football team.
Was it a case of the cover charge at Cheetahs was about to kick in? So
I don't know. But anyway, so what, like I was saying, in San Jose, it'll be 2-3 minutes left, 5 minutes left, and you'll see this mass exodus of people. And it's not that they don't want to stay and support their team. It's that they need to get their asses home. And so maybe all of those people were using public transit, and that game was running a little bit longer than normal, and they needed to all leave in order to catch their shuttle. Also, Donnie and Marie's last show was in Las Vegas, and it may have coincided with that, because, I'm serious, Donnie and Marie have been doing a residency in Las Vegas for, I think, 11 years, something like that, and they just ended their run. So it was kind of special. And for, that section of people who want to go witness that, I'm pretty sure that they thought that moment was a little bit more special than watching their hockey team lose to Chicago.
All right, Hockey Jerk. For those of you who are unaware, Hockey Jerk has recently relocated, and if you could, Jerk, please point yourself out.
I'm the one holding the camera.
Good job, Brian.
Yes.
No, I'm just kidding. I am off screen. I was in the concourse near the entrance. I was doing jumping jacks, wearing a Ryan Carpenter Blackhawks jersey. As you know, Ryan Carpenter used to play for Vegas, and everything I'm saying is made up. No, I was laughing at this, obviously, because I do recall the enjoyment, we'll say, in selling out a preseason game. And I was also at a Vegas Golden Knights game where I saw a very similar situation. A lot of people leaving pissed off. And I mean, my own personal beliefs is, if you're going to pay the ticket, even if your team is losing, stay until the game's over. That's just my own personal beliefs. But at the same time, you're down by 3, and, maybe they're going to raise the minimum bet at the craps table, so you want to get there quick. I don't know, but
The Amazing Jonathan, I think, still has a show in Vegas as well.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be nice if David Copperfield could make that 5 go away, but, he can't. So
Nice.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not one of these people. I mean, I'm not going to say, oh my God, your fans suck because they're leaving early, because at least their fans show up.
What's going to happen is they're going to run a promotion in order to get the fans back. They're going to get David Blaine to suspend from the scoreboard in a big puddle of water for a week.
You'd love to see it. Yeah, my whole thing about this, though, is just, okay, Vegas fans, stop adding us. If you want to sit there and talk about empty seats or whatever, you can point to so many arenas in the middle of a week versus a team, and you're not, you're down 3 goals. Give me a break. Stop. Okay? Happens.
God, wait until Seattle gets here and they're no longer the youngest in the group.
Welcome
oh my God, they're
to
going to have middle child syndrome.
NHL, okay?
Yep.
Just welcome to the freaking NHL. Hey, speaking of welcome to the freaking NHL, welcome Darcy Kuemper. You, my friend, are my spirit animal after ragdolling Matthew Tkachuk. For those of you unaware, Arizona and Calgary had themselves a little bit of a game. And all hell broke loose after Jason Demers, former Sharks alert, Daddy, gets a cross-check and then gets checked yet again when he was already down, and then all hell broke loose. But my all-time favorite part of this whole melee in the video of everything is as soon as Kuemper ragdolls Tkachuk, throws him down near suplex style. They have the wide angle shot of this melee, and it's so cute to see Riddick just full bore trying to skate all 200 feet, all padded up. It's just one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, it's always amusing when the goalies get involved.
Oh,
Bless you.
you
okay?
It's a blast. It's a blast. So, how did you like this one? Were you able to see this, or catch all the video of this before, Rock?
I saw a little bit of it, yeah. First of all, Kachina jerseys for the win.
Yes.
If the Arizona Coyotes really should just make a home and an away version of that sweater and wear it forever and ever and ever.
Well, this entire game was like a real jersey win, but go ahead.
Yeah. I think that this fight, man, this is such a good fight and so like unnecessary as well because it just was superfluous why this happened, and the fact that they got both the goalies involved I think really makes this a special event because generally you don't see the goalies involved. Usually it's just like the forwards, maybe a couple of the D. Yeah, this was like a straight up, I don't know, there must have been something else going on throughout the game that led to this. I don't think this was just like, oh, you did that. I'm pretty sure it's reparations for a lot of crap that went on in that game. I didn't get to see the whole game.
All right.
Sorry.
Jerk, you had to have loved to see it.
So the first thing that stood out to me in this was that Johnny Gaudreau was whining, which is not
Shocker.
any news. Yeah. Never want to call a guy out, but grow the F up. Number two, I like what Rocket said because with these kinds of situations, they're so rare now where when they do happen, like Rocket said, it's a very special thing and it's a lot of fun to watch. And I've always said that, when you see like the star players getting into the fracas, it shows you where like the anger levels are at. And I think this is a prime example. I mean, David Riddick is not happy at all. And he's trying to let Darcy Kuemper know that he's not. And by the way, Darcy Kuemper taking a freaking right hook right to the lips and is totally up before you knew it. You got to love it.
It's like trying to watch the Michelin Man get into a fight.
It's like if you like how they have inflatable jousting, except if the competitors were wearing those inflatable sumo suits as well.
Oh yes. No, but I would have liked to have seen them sell the ticket for this, where it's just like on a very special episode of Flames versus Dogs. So there you go. Finally, around the NHL. Oh boy, I already feel like this is going to go way too long, but let's get into it.
Oh, this one.
Oh, Calvert. For those of you who are unaware, Calvert takes a Elias Pettersson shot to the dome and is down for 13 seconds. He makes an attempt to get up. Clearly, his bell is rung so hard, but 13 seconds later, Vancouver would finally score, and then the officials would whistle it, despite the fact that right after the shot occurs, you can see Pettersson like literally stop, look at the bench, and was kind of like, okay, we need to put the brakes on this for a hot second. A lot of the players did that, and the officials were like, play on, boys. You guys got the control of the puck, so we're just going to let it go, and doesn't matter. So I guess my question, number one, is how fast do you think a whistle would have occurred had a bad puck flow? We've seen it so many times. A puck gets deflected off somebody's shaft. It'll fly out into the crowd, fly up into the netting, fly into the bench. If it flew and dinged an official in the same area and he started leaking, if there was a play still happening that could turn into a scoring play, you think the officials would still swallow those whistles?
No, not at all. I think if a referee or a linesman goes down, I think it's you blow it right away. That end door gets flung open, and it's go time for doctors and all that sort of thing. And I understand why the play was allowed to continue. It is a rule that you don't get the whistle until you get the puck. But at the same time, and I don't want to be super over the top, but like, what if something really, really, really serious happened to Matt Calvert there? Something with like maybe some long-term or some permanent implications happens that could have been erased had the referee just said, okay, this guy is leaking in the offensive zone. Let's blow it, And I understand it's a rule, but that doesn't mean I have to like it. And I don't like it on this situation because it's bad, especially with hockey players. It's bad if they're not up on their feet and skating on their own power to the bench. Like, he was down. You could see he's the blood coming out of like his ear. Like, yeah. It's not even a matter of following the rules. Like, it should have been a judgment call.
Well, and struggling to get up to. We've literally seen Sharks players take shots, chiclets coming out, and you see it like get angry or whatever, and they'll just immediately. I think I've seen Couture that happen too. Like, he takes a really bad shot, he just flips off his helmet, starts going straight to the bench, grabs the towel, boom, he's into the dressing room. That's it. At least in that case, he's able to skate off under his own power. This guy cannot get up, and it's like, play on, boys.
Yeah. Well, to kind of put that in context, you have to remember that Logan's been smacked into choppers about, 50 times in the last 4 years. So by now, like, he's established a protocol. He knows what to do. Like, it's just, okay, oh, no, done this again. But poor Calvert, this is probably the first time it's happened to him.
Well, see, and this is the other thing I also want to note, too. I might have to, like, drop in a clip of this right here, but let he who is without sin cast the first stone. There is plenty of video of Calvert throwing some dirtiness around the league. So I'm not saying the hockey gods are bringing the karma back his way again. Regardless of the player, I don't care if it's Sidney Crosby in that situation. I don't care if it's Michael Haley in that situation. If a dude is leaking after taking a shot to the dome, you just straight blow the whistle. Like, this humanity is more important than a goddamn hockey game. And again, I go back to the idea of if it was an official that happened to, not even a second would have happened before that whistle would have been blown. So
I guarantee you there'll be a clarification on it in the officiating circles, and they'll probably make a change to the way that they call that kind of situation from now on.
Oh, and I guess we can call that the Calvert rule.
Yep.
What was introduced last summer? The Timo Meier rule. So
the Timo Meier rule, the Pavelski rule,
the Landeskog rule.
I just think too, to kind of put a bow on that segment, like take out the fact that obviously he's bleeding from the head, which is already scary, but he's by the way, when he's down on the ice, he's still in the shooting lane, so there is definitely possibility that he could get hit again. But
or somebody could trip over him.
Exactly. He took a puck off it. To me, I mean, it's kind of hard to tell at the angles that Sportsnet provided, but it looks to me he took that puck somewhere between the ear and the temple, which if anybody who's had a concussion before,
he's lucky he didn't get knocked out.
That's what I'm saying. That's a pretty easy spot to get a concussion. And speaking as somebody who's had a concussion, I got hit between the ear and the temple. So I'm just saying, with how much the NHL is concerned about head injuries, I think maybe in the moment, I think this would still happen, but I would hope that the NHL is like, okay, this is a head-related thing. We really need to crack down on this. New rule, new interpretation, new something to prevent this from happening again.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, it can't. It's ridiculous. And it's one of those ideas. Well, here, let me take it a step further. For the longest time, for like 100 years, there were no nets that were, extending the glass barriers behind the goals, right? And then about whatever it was, I want to say it was almost 20 years ago, I believe it was in Columbus, a puck deflects off somebody's stick, flies out into the crowd, hits a girl in the head, and I believe she passed away in less than a week. And what happened? Netting at every building, every practice, everything after that. Just that one time. So what are we going to see? What's the change we're going to see from something like this? And, this is a case of this has happened before. So anyway, all right, let's put the soapbox away and move on to, oh boy, the week of Sharks hockey. I'm not sure what happened to the old Sharks. This is the new. Oh no, I'm sorry. The Redeemer has arrived. Shimmick, oh, you gorgeous beast, you. 6-0 with Shimmick. The last week of hockey included games against Edmonton, Anaheim, and Detroit. Sharks go 3-0. Also want to say, prior to the Chicago game, Bergman and Shimmick were called up, foreseen by AJ. Just saying. And Brodzinski went down. But I'm looking for my points, people. Edmonton.
Yeah. You already got them.
All right. Drew Remenda, friend of the show, Drew Remenda in the house for a 6-3 win versus Drew. 13 different Sharks grab at least 1 point while holding McJesus to a single shot on goal. He did get an assist. However, nice way to keep him at bay. And hopefully we see a lot of tape on this for the boys because Edmonton is the next game for the boys. Then Anaheim Sharks battle back twice from 1-goal deficits, score 4 of 5 ways in a 5-3 win as Hertl takes an awkward knee buckle that made every fan lose their mind, as a big Hertl fan as I am. But 4 or 5 different ways. You get a Burns power play, Kane, Shorty, Couture, empty netter, Hertl, Potts, 2, 5-on-5. Dalton Prout would return to this game and have next to no impact in this, aside from taking Delorier off the ice for 5 minutes. Then the Sharks come back after playing at the Pond and have Shark Freak Night. And what happened was LeBanc turned out to be the freak because he was involved in all the scoring.
And he didn't go to the box to serve the bench minor.
Right?
4-3 freak incident.
4-3 shootout win. LeBanc scores the first goal, gets the secondary assist on the second goal, primary assist on the third, and the only one to score in the shootout. So, what do we like? What do we not like over this last week? Rocket, where's give me all that positivity that needs to happen from a 6-game win streak.
Okay, 6-game win streak. I'm excited about this, but not.
Oh crap! Here we go.
Yeah, I gotta stay balanced, all right? Because I don't. If I stay balanced,
medications for that.
That's if you can afford health insurance. Hello.
Hey now.
So this is a 6-game win streak against some good teams and some teams that are struggling right now. But since the Sharks have a kind of a bad habit of losing against garbage teams, that's a good sign. I think that they can beat the crap teams, and some teams that aren't crap looked like absolute crap against San Jose, which was kind of refreshing. I will say that this last game, I think Erik Karlsson did a good job. He made some good defensive plays. And he was a defenseman, and then he did the other fun stuff, but he was a defenseman, and I'm like, yeah, blue liner, dude. So it was nice to see. I know he wants to get all up in the offensive production and stuff like that, and he does, but it's still like he needs to remember to play defense, damn it, and he's good at it when he remembers to do it. But he just needs to just focus on one thing, that's all. But I thought that this 6-game winning streak, I think, is a good indication that the Sharks are ready to turn it around. They're all starting to find their groove and to buy into it as a unit. And my God, what a glorious unit they are.
Not where I thought she was going with that, jerk. What did you take from this last week of hockey? And, of course, all the stick taps, and we can espouse amazing kudos all over EK65. But there have been some other key factors in this. Shimmick. But anyway, jerk.
Well, one thing that I want to bring up before we get rolling here is whatever show it was, AJ and I talked about how important home cooking was going to be, and so far, so good. But what I liked, I mean, you were talking, Rocket, you were talking about units. Tomas Hertl is proving to be a unit. I mean, like, can't stop, won't stop.
We're gonna
It's
get
a metric unit.
dude. We're gonna get flagged for like a child unfriendly video after all this talk. But go ahead.
No, I mean, as the millennial of this podcast, I feel I can bring some millennial.
Dude, we get it.
vernacular.
You're young. Go.
I'm just saying. Obviously Tomas Hertl has been the best player the last week, which is really, it's good to see for all the reasons we've been over before. Can he play center? Can he take over a game by himself? Yada yada yada, and he's done that. But also, I think Erik Karlsson has played very well. I think the best shift in his tenure as a San Jose Shark was on the penalty kill in overtime against who the hell did we play yesterday? Detroit.
That one team, those guys.
They're so irrelevant that I just forgot. No, but that penalty kill in overtime, I think, is the best Sharks hockey he's played. I mean, to Rocket, like you said, he was playing defense and he blocked a shot. And in my head, I'm like, all right,
Wait,
Vlasic. Yeah, he blocked a shot. I'm
exactly.
like, hell yeah, Vlasic. And then he turned around. I saw 6'5". I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And obviously Karlsson, he's getting into the offense as well. He scored a goal against Detroit. He's put up some assists, which is fantastic as well. Kevin Labanc, this is obviously a huge year for him, and he's played very well playing with Couture. Barclay Goodrow is like, he doesn't even remember what the doghouse looks like because he's in the owner's mansion now. Like, he's had the best year of his career, and he's playing with Hertl and Meyer, and he doesn't stand out, which I think is just fantastic. A lot of good things going for the Sharks. Martin Jones is playing better. He still lets in the occasional
we're gonna talk about that in a minute.
Still lets in the occasional beach ball, but I mean, he's making the saves that he should make.
Okay, funny you bring that up. Let's get into the numbers here. Now, EK65's plus minus has improved big time. I don't want to get into the whole debate on how remarkable or unremarkable that stat is. Fact of the matter is, it's gotten better. Along with Marc-Edouard Vlasic, who has also climbed out of the cellar of the plus minus. Burns, not so much. Even 6 games with Shimmick, Burns right now leads the team with a minus 16. So now, conversely, Labanc is at a minus 12 despite having the ridiculous game versus Detroit. So these guys are going to crawl out of this. They still got to crawl out of the goal differential, which I think right now they're still like 25th out of 31 teams. So they dug an early hole. They got to get out of that. That said, you bring up Martin Jones. 905, 808, 960, 875, 906, 893. That was his save percentage over the last 6 games. Obviously, one number stands out there, 960. All right, so if you roll that back, it was the game against Nashville, 2-1, shootout win. That is a game you can look at and say, Martin Jones stole that game. That one you can look at. But I mean, 960, holy crap. But over 6 games, over his last 6 games, and these are all victories, still, average of 891. This guy needs to average above 900, preferably like 910, 912. I don't mind the occasional stinker. Every goalie puts one up. Patrick Waugh did, okay? Brodeur did. Insert favorite goalie name here. Everybody had a stinker. That said, 960... Again, every goalie is also going to put up a game where you just go, holy hell, how did he stop all of those things? That was amazing. But it needs to be over 900 a lot more. That needs to be the rule, not the exception. Especially with a team that lost a lot of offensive weapons in the offseason.
I would just like to say here, and again, same thing with plus minus. You can take this information however you like, but in those 6 games that you referenced, which are obviously the 6 games the Sharks have most recently won, only one of those games did did the opposing team have over 30 shots on goal? Now, the argument could be made is that, even if you only let in one goal, if you don't see a lot of shots, your save percentage is going to get screwed up by that one goal. Now, I'm not saying that that's the only way to look at it. It's definitely a way to look at it. And I think maybe you can credit the Sharks defense for being a little more stingy when it comes to managing the puck and allowing shots to Martin Jones. So if you want to find a nugget of positivity, but even then, to your point, AJ, aside from all of that, you have to goaltending is so hard because you have to make the saves that you should make, but then it's also like, wouldn't it be nice if you could make the saves that you're not supposed to make? And it's tough. I think even though the save percentage has not been where we want it to be, which, like we've talked about, is 9-10, I still think, considering how many shots the Sharks have allowed, I don't think it's awful. I mean, I don't think it's great, but I don't think it's necessarily awful either.
Well, I mean, I'll even throw out the best and worst number. Obviously, the best being 960, the worst being 808. If you still just average it out, he's 895. So now, hopefully the Sharks can manage the amount of rubber that gets near him, limit the shots. And, of course, when you limit the shots, if you do let in one, your save percentage versus, saving one after 50 shots on goal versus one on 19 shots on goal.
And that's why Mike Smith always looked so good, because he would let in 5 goals, but he would make like 40 saves.
Yeah. So, oh, boy. I don't know. Like, look, I want everything to be rosy. Hey, right now, let's talk about the real fun silver lining in all this. Right now, Vegas is below the Sharks in the standings. So you love to see it.
How do we feel about where Logan Couture is at right now? Because, I mean, he's getting the points, but I don't really feel like he's been much of a game breaker lately.
Rock?
That's just my opinion.
Yeah, but I think maybe a little bit of his focus is being diverted into his captaincy.
I can see that.
Yeah. He's still solid,
Oh, 100%. I mean, point per game. You can't argue with that.
Yeah, I think he had a slow start, but he's coming around. A lot of the guys on the team had a slow start. So let's reevaluate by Christmas and see where people are. Maybe look at where they are now versus where they were a year ago and see, it's like, at least are we seeing some consistency? Again, I'm still going to ask the question, why is Dalton Proud on this team? But anyway.
Oh, God.
Dude.
Because we need a pylon.
That was the stupidest thing I've ever seen.
Dude, this is what I don't get, okay? And let's just put this in perspective. Tim Heed plays in a game, was like +2. I think he had an assist, no penalty minutes. Dalton Prout plays the next night for the Barracuda, what was it, -2. I think he might have had an assist, but he also had like 7 penalty minutes or something like that. And it's, no, 2. He had 2 penalty minutes. But either way, it's like, wait a minute. Let's replace, the guy who's got a howitzer, who just got an assist, and it was a fantastic shot that got through. Nice tip. But also, was positive on the plus-minus. Did not take a penalty. And, yeah, let's replace him with the knuckle dragger who got his ass handed to him, the next night in the A. It's like, really? Like, you can sit there and go, well, Anaheim's a heavier team. And, yeah, I'm not buying that, man. You might be able to get away with that with Vegas, not with Anaheim. This is not your dad's Anaheim team anymore. Corey Perry doesn't live here. Just saying. But anyway, I'll get off my soapbox yet again. God, it keeps making its way onto the show.
It made, like, okay, so the first game of the season, I don't even remember what happened, but he gets a concussion, and it sucks. Like, concussions are no joke. They're no fun. It definitely sucks. But you come back from your first game after rehabbing a concussion, and I even said at the time on Twitter, I said, this fight makes 0 sense. Why? There was no big hit, that nobody was mouthing off, nothing happened, and then all of a sudden Prout is fighting somebody on the Ducks, and I'm like, what's the point?
And so with that, without further ado, let's just give you a little quickie, shall we?
Ooh, Barracuda!
So for those of you who were unaware, in the month of November, The Barracuda don't know how to win. Holy hell, has it been a nightmare for the Cuda. They have lost 6 straight. Now, as we're talking about this, they are leading the Tucson Roadrunners after Joey Chestnut just destroyed a bunch of waffles, and boy, does he look thrilled to do it.
Wow.
I mean, good Lord. Just like, where are the buckets? That's what I want to know.
Couple
Man.
things here. So poor Tanya, she's like, "Why did I agree to this?"
It's like the things I do for minimum wage. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah. And Joey looks like he's being waterboarded, and Matt, like, he looks like a cartoon character.
A little
That's
bit.
what I look like when I eat popcorn.
Matt is here going, yep, same hit, different day.
Yep.
So
God.
I don't care what it is. You put it in front of me, I'm going to eat it. So
Wow.
What a good choice, though. Like,
I
on a
thought that was
totally
fabulous.
side note, like waffles are just fantastic. On a totally side note.
There's some good gifs out there of, I can't remember, there's a hockey player and he's like staring at a waffle that's floating in space.
Who is it from the Flames?
Oh, it's Dustin Penner.
Nope. It was a Russian dude.
I thought it was Rafi Torres.
Nope. It's the one where he like looks and he's seeing it all around, and then he goes, and then they put it's a Russian guy. Oh, I'll find it. Anyway,
Waffles.
we could be here all day with this. So let's move on and finish everything off. Speaking of the San
Ole
Jose,
Jokinen.
there you go. That's the one.
Thank you.
San Jose Barracuda hopefully will win tonight versus the Tucson Roadrunners on 408 night. And you watch, now that they finally won a game, it's like, okay, what can we bring Chestnut and Stoney to eat next game?
It's got to be something from the arena, like
cheesesteak.
what? Oh God, no! They would have like half of one and then die. Like it's got. What can you get at the arena that you can like put away? It's got to be like.
Dude,
Chicken strip? No.
dude, you know what they need to do? They need to get those
Hot dogs?
ridiculously huge milkshakes that they're doing at the Boardwalk kiosk now. Oh, dude, just from the sugar. Well, it's like, all right, free diabetes to everybody who shows up tonight. diabetic comments for everybody.
How many of these personal Pizza Factory pizzas can you put away?
Right?
Baked potatoes?
Oh man. Oh, that would be simultaneously fascinating and gross at the same time.
I feel like,
they're easy to digest because they're really, they're semi-solid.
For
but
those
they're
of you
so messy.
For those of you listening on your lunch break, we apologize for the last 60 seconds of audio. Let's move on, please. So, speaking of the CUDA, we did just wrap In the Reef episode 4 with Kevin Lacey and Nick Nolenberger. So go check that out if you want to know a little bit more about what's going on with the Barracuda, including a little bit on Blickfeld, You're Tankin', and Weinger. Got into a little bit of stuff there. So check that out. And Cornosh, dude, back-to-back shutouts, can't stop a beach ball. Okay, let's get into.
Well,
okay,
you'll be happy to know the Barracuda. Leon Bergman just scored. It's 5-0 Barracuda, and Joachim Blickfeld had the secondary assist. So there you go.
Sweet.
I haven't gotten a chance to listen to the latest episode of The Reef yet, but I'm sure Kevin Lacey made a mention about Blickfeld getting an assist. So
it would not surprise me. Well, that
we'll
and
look into that.
Antti Suomela getting 2 goals, also having a goal in this game, starting to come into form here a little bit. That, of course, happening in a 9-3 shellacking, the worst loss in franchise history down in San Diego. But I digress. Let's move on, please, quickly. A couple things. I like to rant from time to time. If you've ever listened to anything I've ever said, you've probably gotten that idea. The warm-up jerseys for the Sharks this season. I like your layout. Like I like what you're doing. Like the Sharks Freak and Sharks Uprising. Like I dig the design, and you're going into some interesting and new areas. But I need to know, why did you guys cheap out on the crests that are on the front? And the reason why I ask this is that the Sharks Foundation put out a package called a Teal Tote. Now, they did something like this last season where it was, if you spend $1,000, you can get this autographed jersey, and you can pick a player who's going to autograph it and everything, and then you get a bunch of other accoutrements, if you will, whether it's like a backpack or a fleece or an autographed puck or whatever. There's other things that come along with this, but the big money item, of course, is the autographed jersey. Now, I dig these designs, but the crest, up until this year, it was always a nice embroidered stitch crest, like what's on every other Sharks jersey. But for some reason, this year, it's all the material that you would see now on a patch for an Adidas jersey on the shoulder patch. It's where it's not embroidered. It's I don't even know what that is. It's almost, remember those puffy stickers when you were a kid in school? Like, that's kind of, it has this kind of like, I understand it all goes to charity and to support a foundation and everything. And I understand all the money does good things, but when you're spending that kind of money, I feel like you want something a little bit more valuable to come back your way. And it's just after years of having these gorgeous embroidered crests, this is just my personal view. I'm not a fan of these new, like, I thought the Teal Tote thing, I thought that was like a one-off. But after Sharks Freak Night, when they had warm-up jerseys available, they're the same way, where it's kind of this, it's not what we're used to for a normal patch. But I'm sure somebody will sit there and go, well, you know what? It makes for a lighter jersey. Like, it almost makes me wonder if they're trying this out, and then if everybody likes it, it's kind of like, yeah, this is what we're going to do next season. And I'm just going to go, oh, God, this is horrible.
I almost wonder if it has to do with the amount of specialty warm-up jerseys the Sharks are doing this year, and maybe trying to offset some costs or something like that. Because you remember, like, obviously with Reebok, and then the first year of the Adidas, it was like, okay, military, hockey fights cancer, then we'll give you like one or two themes. And now this year the Sharks had military, they had hockey fights cancer like normal, but then just by my count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different themes.
Yep. No, they got and 5 this year, but they also did military. They're selling military ones in the stores. Those don't even have that kind of it's literally like printed on, like it's like screen printed, the logo, the Sharks logo, where it looks like it has that look where it was kind of like spray painted on those military ones. And what's funny is they're already like hanging on like a clearance rack in the Shark store, which if you're familiar with the Shark store, they really don't have anything in the way of clearance stuff. So it was interesting to see those like up front and center. And the really funny thing is that I picked one up and I'm looking at it and I go, well, you know, this looks nice, but it looks cheap to me because that it looks like it's spray painted on there. And then of course some fan behind me goes, dude, did Fanatics make that and put an Adidas logo on it? That was the whole thing, dude. He's like, dude, that'll flake off in one dry cleaning. So anyway, I hope this is like just a 1-year tryout thing and they go back to like nice quality embroidery on their crests on the front. This is, if you want to keep the patches that way, okay, sure. I'm still not a fan, because if you look at the warm-up jerseys that Jerk and I got last season, those gorgeous patches that are embroidered on the shoulders.
Stop.
And the one
making
in
me
front.
jealous.
Oh, baby, a triple.
Stop it, you guys.
You have to love it when you see that jersey.
I'm it's in my closet right now. I'm seriously considering hanging it on my wall just because we're talking about it.
Right?
You just want to go pet it, don't you?
Dude. I think we can throw back to we can do a callback to last episode. Just touch the patch, rub the patch, touch the patch, rub the patch, touch it. So finally, Jesus Christ, this should have ended 20 minutes ago. The last thing we're going to touch on.
That's what she said.
Right. We're going to talk about the John Tortora interview that we had earlier this week. If you didn't get a chance to listen to that, go check it out on our channels, SoundCloud, YouTube, whatever podcast catcher you enjoy. The key takeaway in my talk with John Tortora, which was essentially all about the plans for the development that are going to occur in the downtown area, whether it's Google and their big, massive complex where they're just buying up anything that has a for sale sign around it that's within a mile of the tank. There's also the arrival of BART that is imminent and the expansion of Diridon Station. So the key piece of information that came out of this talk was the Sharks own lots A, B, and C, the primary parking that is associated with SAP. And when you look at the plans that have been shared by Google or others, what it doesn't say anywhere in all of the things that I've looked at is that the Sharks own and control those lots. And for the city to sell that property off to Google, the Sharks have to sign off on that. So, I don't get too worried about something happening with that. Don't look at these maps and go, how the hell am I going to park at SAP Center in 5 years or whenever things start to happen? And John made it very clear that if they were to sign off to sell those parcels of land or sign off so that San Jose could sell those parcels of land, that it would only be if the fan experience was maintained how it currently is or exceeded what it currently is. So what I'm trying to say is don't freak out too much when you see these plans. Take it all with a grain of salt. The other thing as well that people have discussed is the fact that the Sharks in 2015 signed this lease agreement. Part of it was 10 years through 2025. We're just going to sign this 10-year extension. We're here through 2025, but after that, it will go annually through 2040. Now, another key piece of information that seems to have been lost in almost everything that I've read about this is it would lend you to believe that, once it goes annually, San Jose or the Sharks can opt out and say, okay, yeah, we're going to move in a year or something, whatever, but that's it. And that is, in fact, not the case. It's also not the case of San Jose can't say, hey, Sharks, God, we've loved having you here these last 30 years, but we want to do something else there. And so if you could find another home, we'd really appreciate that. San Jose does not have that option. It's only San Jose that can exercise, the San Jose Sharks can exercise this clause. And if and when they do it, they have to give a 3-year notice. So if that even comes out, they would still remain at the tank for another 3 years after that. Either way, that's just some information. It was a great conversation with him. I suggest if you're concerned about any of the development, go listen to it. But I just wanted to give you some key pieces for those of you who don't, but you do listen to us. If you're thinking about it, considering any of those things that are going to impact the SAP Center, I wanted to share that information with you because I know I was freaking out about it, to be quite honest. I was losing my mind. With that, we got a couple more interviews coming up, so pay attention to this channel. As always, hit the subscribe button on the YouTube. Hit the thumbs up. Hit the notification bell so you know and get that cool little email that says, hey, they're live now, or there's a new video, or there's something premiering. Be informed. Follow us on Twitter, at tealtownusa. Same thing with Instagram. All those cool things. So with that, Rocket, where can the people find you on the social media channels?
On the social media channels, you can find me over on Twitter, rbackhander76. That's capital R, capital B, little backhander76. Hockey, girl stuff, just angsty, grouchy person with a lot of hot takes, and sometimes I live tweet the game, sometimes I don't. It depends. Whatever. Follow me, don't follow me. Or you can check out my photographs. Currently, I'm taking pictures of all the animals in the house right now. I don't know. It's just stuff I do. So, yeah, it's photographs over on Instagram. Rocket Backhander, one word. Right there.
Jerkman.
Hockey_jerk on Twitter. That's the place to go if you want to know my thoughts, feelings, opinions about this hockey team, the San Jose Sharks, that we all love and enjoy. And if you want to know my thoughts, feelings, and opinions on other teams as well, that you can also go there. I do watch a lot of hockey. I've said it before. I try to watch at least 2 games a day. If there's Sharks are playing, then it's 3 games a day because I'm
silly like that.
Yeah.